picked up a phone call of a woman who called with an interesting question. She has a son, he's 17 and a half years old, and he got a driver's license, and they got him a car. Nice parents. My parents didn't get me a car when I was 17 and a half, I'll tell you that. But I guess that's the 2017 thing. And but they made him a condition. It seems like, I don't know, you guys probably know this better than me, but there are restrictions on your license at certain ages of how many people can be in the car, what time you can drive. So I don't know, how does it work in New York? I'm just curious. What? So what time can't you drive?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock at night. All right, assuming that that's the... so they made him a deal. You got your license. Here's a brand new car. But after 9 o'clock at night, you can't drive. Because a law is a law. The mother says the night before, it was last night, meaning 8:30 p.m., he left the house. She told him, hon, it's almost 9 o'clock. If you want to go, take an Uber or something. You can't drive after 9. He said, no, Mom, I'm just going around the corner to get a Slurpee. I'm coming right back. I'll be home before 9. Don't worry about it. All right, this around the corner brought him back home at 4:45 a.m. That was a very large corner. I don't know, in Queens you guys must have different corners than we have in Lakewood. The mother says, I call him, he doesn't pick up. I text him, he doesn't answer. I wanted to file a missing persons report. Finally, after like 3-4 hours, he texts me back, Mama, I'm okay, bug off. That was his thank you for a car. That was his thank you, bug off. All right. Bug off, bug off. At least she knew he was alive, he was okay. Comes on 4:45, she said, I couldn't sleep, but I didn't want to face him because I knew I would blow up at him. I stayed in my room, he went to his room, Shalom al Yisrael. It's now 8:30 in the morning, she's calling me and she tells me, do I take his keys away or not? That was a deal is a deal, he has to learn. And not only that, look how he responded. Look how he responded. If he would have said, I'm sorry, I got caught up with my friends, I'm at my buddy's house, I'm not driving, Mom, don't worry, it's okay. It's alright, not the best thing to do, but at least I cut him some slack. But here, bug off? Bug off. So I told her I have 2 things to tell you. Both of them you won't understand today. But in 15 years from now, when your son is a big Talmid Chacham, then call me back and say thank you. And she says, what? I said, number 1, you should go downstairs with your husband and take out a cake and a bottle of whiskey and make a l'chaim, a celebration that Hashem gave you a schus. That's unreal. That for the first time in your life, your child is actually going to believe that you love him. She said, what? I said, let me tell you something very simple. When your child does what you want and you say, wow, it's so nice of you, that's a big deal? No, a stranger would do that. When your child, let's say, doesn't exactly behave the way you want because he's a teenager, but it's not extreme, it's within teenage norms. And that term, teenage norms, is broadening year by year very drastically. So, maybe you're not so comfortable with it, but you say, teenager. Could be the social worker in school, will talk to him a little bit, could be this, could be that, whatever. But at the end of the day, you're going to brush it off as a teenager. So when you tell him that you love him, does that mean anything? No. I'm your kid, you brought me to the world. Overall, you're proud of me. I do somewhat well in school, I'm okay, I'm put together, I don't give you too much drama, I'm not on heavy drugs, I don't, nothing too extreme, I'm not married to Goya, I'm not... Alright, so you told me you love me, of course you love me, it's convenient for you. I said, last night he went and broke your rule with what you gave him and then spit in your face, bug off. For the first time in your life, you have an opportunity that when he comes downstairs and has lunch ready on the table for him and a note saying, I love you, he's actually going to believe you. Because this time, you got nothing in return. I said, now don't fail the test. And this lady, you would think at that point, would either hang up or say thank you. She didn't get it. She says, so I should take away the keys? I said, am I wasting my time? I said, who spoke about keys just now? So first of all, how are you getting the keys? She said, it's in his room. I can go in. He's sleeping. I said, don't invade his privacy. What gives you the right to walk into his room? What gives you the right? It's his private space. Then I told her this piece from the Satmar Rebbe. And I said, you told me that he came home 4 whatever in the morning. I said, and now it's only 8 something in the morning. So even if for the past 4 hours you read Tehillim, you definitely didn't finish 3 books straight. And the disciple used to tell parents that had problems with their kids that they should read 3 books of Tehillim straight without stopping. I said, so first go read 3 books of Tehillim straight without stopping, and then we'll see if you still want to take away the keys. And she said, thank you very much, and she hung up. Let me tell you the end of the story. In 15 years from now, we'll see what's going to be. That I don't know yet. Maybe in 15 years I'll share it with your kids or your grandchildren, B'ezrat Hashem. But at about 5:15 or so p.m. today, I get a phone call from somebody. I don't pick up calls in general. My phone's normally on Do Not Disturb. I tell people text me like this. I can see if it's important or not, and I call back. At the pace of, on a slow hour, 60 phone calls, it's kind of impossible to pick up everybody's call. But this person calls once, calls twice. And on Do Not Disturb, you don't get the actual call, but you see it on the missed calls. At one point, I saw 19 times in a row he called. 19 times. Koch nefesh already. This is not... I was kidding, my phone will erupt from these phone calls. So I called back. Hear a voice of a boy on the other end of the line. He says, your name is Yakov? I said, yeah. He said, what do you do with yourself? I said, can I know who you are and why that makes a difference? So he said, no, I need to know. This is important info for me. He's talking, with the whole slang. I'm skipping a lot of words he said in the middle. Mishum kavod hatzibur. I said, honestly, I'm unemployed. I don't know. I don't really do anything. So he said, what does that mean? You sit bored all day? That's what you do? I said, no, I recently got a job. It's called a janitor. He said, oh yeah, where do you work? I said, all over the Jewish nation. People make messes and I try to clean them up. He said, so you're the guy I want. I said, why am I the guy you want? He said, you saved my car last night. I said, what do you mean? He said, let me tell you something. I left the house last night. I was in a very bad mood. And I really was planning on going around the corner to buy a Slurpee, come back home, and just watch TV for the rest of the night and lock myself in my own world. When I went to wherever he went to, I don't know, he told me some name, but it wasn't 7-Eleven, I don't know, some other name. And I'm not here to give any youngsters ideas anyway. He said, I met some of my friends that either are or aren't, the biggest tzaddikim, but potentially definitely are. And we decided to go hang out. And I'm the only one with a car. So they asked me if I would drive. And I wouldn't tell them no, right? Because then I'm going to be the little scared boy who doesn't want to drive because mommy doesn't let him. So I said yes. And they promised me that it's only going to be for whatever, we'll chill for half an hour. So I figured my mother's going to get over it. I came home at 9:15 instead of 9, not the end of the world. I said, but they had other plans. So we went to New York City. And I don't know how this kid's just got a license, just got a new car, he's already going to Manhattan. That's all I got. It's a good teenager today. So we found some place. And no, kids, it's not giving anybody ideas. We all have fake IDs. And we went in to drink. And I was the only one who didn't drink. This is what our young boys are doing tonight, Hashem Yah. One of my friends got drunk. He used other words, but I'm saying it nicer. And I couldn't leave him there. So we were all stuck negotiating for a while after we were done. And as the hours were going by, my mother's texting me and calling me and harassing me. And what am I supposed to tell her? I went to the city, we got drunk in a bar, how am I driving home, what's good, I got a drunk guy in the car on top of driving when I'm not supposed to, what is this? I told her to bug off. So I came home at night, and I was 100% convinced that I have no car. And I was hating my friends. I said, they dragged me into this, I'm not that type, I didn't want to do this in the first place. Totally hating them. But it is what it is, my parents' car, they got it for me. I understand cause and effect. I did it to myself. I was hoping to negotiate after a week to get it back. As I get up at 1:30 in the afternoon, I come downstairs to my kitchen, and I see this gorgeous lunch sitting on the table with a note from my parents saying, we hope you got rest, you're probably hungry, have a wonderful day, we love you, if you need anything, call us. I run back to my room saying they're probably trying to bribe me because they took my keys away. And my keys are sitting there on the desk and my car is parked in the driveway. And I called my mom and I said, Mom, I love you too. But I know you for 17 and a half years. This ain't you! What got into you? She said, I'll tell you what got into me. There's some guy that I listen to on WhatsApp once in a while, and he has all these awkward things about parenting. And I decided to call him for advice this morning. And he was the one who told me to do it. I don't know why she had to say that. She ruined their whole love thing, but whatever. And he told me that unconditional love is that even when you spit in my face, I still love you and I don't fight with you. And he's right, and I agree with him. And that's why I did what I did to make a point. And the guy said, what's the guy's number? So she said, what do you want? What do you need a number for? I said, first of all, I want to tell him thank you. Second of all, I want to ask him to spend more time with you and Dad. Third of all, I need a favor from him. Okay. So I hear all this. I said, thanks for the story. Cute. You gave me some material for tonight. But what's the favor? And he says, I told the story to a bunch of my friends, and each one has his own story. He says, if you think I'm the unstable one, I'm the angel in the group, and they all want to come learn with you. Could you find us an hour a week that you can teach us? There's like 30 of us that have signed up. So we're not going to wait 15 years to get one Talmid Chacham. We're going to wait a couple of years to get 30 Talmidei Chachamim. Now imagine that mother would have spoken to some social worker at 8:30 in the morning. And she would have said, you have to put down boundaries. We would have murdered 30 Jewish children in one word. Pinchas ben Elazar ben Aaron HaKohen. Yeah, sometimes you have to stand up for what's right. There are times that I lay it down to people as it is. When boys talk to me about different addictions that they're thinking of getting involved with, I take them on a ride to the cemetery to show them where it can end up. And I offer them an alternative. It's called a hug. I said, obviously you're not happy in life. Nobody's loving you enough. Come. If your parents don't want you, I'll adopt you. Let them sign papers. I always wanted more kids. But you can only say it as it is after you shed the tear for the kid to do the right thing. After you gave your heart, your life, your soul, everything in the world, you sacrificed it all that the kid should have a chance to do the right thing. But before that, where do you come into the equation of? Where? Where does it start? Interesting point. I call tonight's class Ahavat Yisrael, obviously in the spirit of the 3 weeks. On Tuesday, disappointingly, I was really hoping it wouldn't happen. We had to fast, once again, Shiva Sabbat Tammuz. I have nothing against fasting. Most days I don't eat during the day. But not to fast because God doesn't have a home. That's kind of sad. But the Gemara says the solution, and the solution is not made of some fancy fanfare. It's made of something very simplistic. Loving Jews. If we would love each other, this would be over. That means that this whole exile that we're in, with all its problems and consequences, is in essence a self-created problem. And a self-created problem over what? What do you prefer? What makes you happier, to love somebody else or to hate him? When you hate somebody, you're miserable and they're miserable. When you love somebody, you're happy and they're happy. So it's a self-created problem that comes from an extremely depressing, morbid place. It comes from a masochist hurting himself. It's Jews hurting themselves by hating others, or by not accepting others, or by not loving others, or by not understanding that no two people are the same and we should respect other people's differences. And year after year, we go through what we call the 3 weeks, 21 days, which is a cycle where God hopes once again, maybe this time I'll get them to love each other. Maybe this time I'll get them to accept each other. Maybe this time we'll get this thing that there's no more my community, your community, my custom, your custom. We're just one nation. And at that point, I can come back. Parents feel very uncomfortable sitting by a table when their kids are fighting. Hashem feels very uncomfortable building a temple when his kids are fighting. He don't want his kids in the house fighting. It doesn't feel good. He wants a third temple that he can feel good in. His kids loving each other.